with something a little bit different with my process. You don't usually see this part of my process, but I thought it'd be kind of refreshing to show it to you so you can see that I don't always know exactly what I'm going to do, even though it sometimes looks like it when things start out. So I'm starting out with this photo, and it's from a recent concert that I went to, and I loved the pink and the really purpley blue or bluey purple here in the photo. It was taken at night and just really cool, and I loved how it showed how many people were at this event. We have a local, fairly well-known music festival called Summerfest near where I live, and it's 10 days of concerts and big name bands and local acts, and it's very cool. Anyway, so this is the photo I'm starting out with, and what I did is I knew that Amy Tangerine Better Together had some of these blue papers in them. So I went to my stash and I pulled them. Here's the two I was thinking of. And I pulled 12 by 12 sheets and then scraps as well, because I don't really know for sure what I'm going to be doing. So I pulled those because I think they look good with that. And then as I was in that envelope, I found other things too that worked as well. So I think this Good Times paper works really well, and I think this is from Stitched because it's from a paper pad. I like that. This is kind of a cool sentiment with this. I like this sort of retro design here, I guess, sketch design. We went to see the Bare Naked Ladies. That's what this concert is. So, I don't know, kind of 80s. It reminds me of older, and I don't know, whatever. Anyway, so I like that idea. The one thing I think it might be difficult with, though, is how do I do this? Because I don't necessarily like that photo on the blue. It's a dark photo to begin with. Yeah, I don't really like that on there. So I think I'm going to eliminate that page right away. Okay, then my next thought is this camera, and I have two camera papers here. The one thing about this one, though, is this is almost corally compared to this one, so we'll eliminate that right away. And this is how I really go about my process. This one is one they already have, so I don't need to do that. So I kind of like this. This is a good thought here. This is great on this. So that's a thought. This I thought is maybe some sort of, I don't know, vertical element. We'll see. I like how this stands out on that. So this is a good one. And I just like this design too. I don't know, it reminded me of concerts, whatever. It did. Same thing with this black and white too. A more subdued stripe. I could use it this way or this way. Although I don't really like this as well as I do this, as I'm really looking at the two. So I'm going to eliminate this. It'll be close at hand, though, if I need it. And then lastly, I pulled this, again, mostly for color. But I think this has the same problem as one of those other, the Good Times one with the design. It's too heavily designed, I think, through here for what I'm thinking. Although this is cool. But then, how would I do that? Because that comes like that, and I don't really like the way this looks. But I do like these two papers together. So if I don't use this, somehow I should figure this out, because it's cool. Just something a little bit different. So anyway, I'm going to eliminate this one for now as well. Then, so these are the papers I'm looking at. I did sort of look at a scrapbook. I went to my Pinterest board and looked at a layout, and of course now that's not going to come up for me right away. Sorry about that. I'll do that. I may have just given you the code to my iPad, but whatever. Okay, so here's this. So I was looking at this. I don't know how well you can see that, but there's a dark background here, and then a photo which is probably, yeah, that's probably a 5x7 photo on this. Then there's an element, vertical element there, and then a like a little banner for journaling, and I could either use that as a banner or come up with something for journaling myself. So anyway, that's kind of what I was looking at for an idea for my design. And sometimes I do that where I pull an idea for a design, and sometimes I don't. It really just depends. In this case, I did. So if I'm looking at that again, what I'm thinking about doing, just thinking through this now, is this for the background, maybe this for the vertical element, and then, I don't really, this isn't big enough to go the full length of the page. So I don't love that because I really like the idea of going the full length of the page, but I do have this camera print here, and I could do that in the background there. Although I really like this on this. So maybe, okay, so let's look at this. Could we do the camera print as a vertical element and then put this on here for some sort of other like vertical element, and maybe do that, or mat this as well. Okay, so I think I'm going to play with that a little bit in my process, not talk my way through it with you. I'll do that in the narration, but that's the idea there. Then I pulled a bunch of stuff for ideas here. I'm trying to work through these Jelly Bean Soup mini placemats, so this one or that one could work in here somewhere. This one says hello, so not as good. I pulled the Amy Tangerine sticker book and die cuts from Better Together because it has dark blues in it, and you know, like that pink I could use. I could use this Today sticker for my journaling, and there's a little bit of green here, but I could probably figure out how to just place an embellishment there and get rid of that. So those are good things to use. I have these envelopes from Recollections, and this pink is great. Probably won't use those now if this is predominant in the front. These pink stars from Freckled Fawn, these hearts from Studio 112, which is Joanne's. I have these black and white Simple Stories stickers, so I thought those might come in handy. I did find, this is a really old Amy Tangerine sticker book. I found this really cool watercolor flower, so I might use that. Thought about this label, and then there's this is navy and it says Big Plans. That might work. This one said Go Ahead, Be Amazing. I thought about that, but actually as I'm looking at this now, pink's wrong and I'm probably not going to like that. And then lastly, I had some of these Heidi Swapp stickers, and I thought they might work, but their pink is probably going to be wrong for this. So anyway, so now you see that's kind of how I do the start of my thought process, and how I just pick embellishments. And you know, sometimes it's a pack of things that match and sometimes it's not. So I'm just going to put that all aside. Oh, and I forgot, I have these sequins too that I think would be cool with this. So what I'm going to do now is we're going to put you on fast forward and we will get the layout started. Talk to you in a bit. Okay, so here's the layout. As I said, that layout is going to be inspired by that layout from my Pinterest board. It was from the Crafty Maven Getaway, and Felicia Young created the original layout for Sketch It Out Thursday, and the layout is called Love This 2013. So I'll try to remember to post a link to my Pinterest board, and then you'll be able to trace the layout that way. So what I've done is I have the background papers done. I'm thinking about echoing that frame because Felicia had used a frame on hers as well, but I just don't like the way it looks. If I think the smile had been on the right side of that frame, I would have used it, but it wasn't. Now, I do have a little bit of a dilemma there because I like that pink paper, but it will be on top of another pink paper. I'm also thinking about using this camera. And again, those two, the smile and this camera, are Jelly Bean Soup die cuts. But as often happens when I try to use these, it's just not going to work. So a little bit of information here. The background blue chevron paper is from Amy Tangerine Finders Keepers. It's called Treasure. The black and white chevron there is from Amy Tangerine Rise and Shine. I had the paper pad, which I've actually pulled apart now, but had the paper pad. I don't have the paper name and I couldn't find it. The pink camera paper is another Amy Tangerine paper from Rise and Shine, and that one is called Claire. So that you're kind of cut up. And then the pink polka dot paper, which I'm cutting right now, is from Amy Tangerine Rise and Shine, and that paper name is Stella, as I said. So if you look at this, to my eye, I didn't like that pink against the pink. So I did grab this scrap of blue polka dot paper that I had from Amy Tangerine Finders Keepers, and it's called Pursuit. And that's what I'm going to end up doing. And normally I don't think I'd put two polka dots together. I don't. I've looked at trying to do that before and it doesn't work. But the thing that worked about these two polka dots is the pink paper, the polka dots are very linear, so they're straight lines. The blue, they're scattered and they're different sizes and even actually different shapes. It looks more like you dropped droplets, I guess. So that's, I think, why those two papers work. Otherwise, I don't think I'd ever do that. But sometimes, you just try something. I knew that blue paper worked. I'd considered it for my background. But when you try it, sometimes those things will work. So now I am going through a very old sticker book. When I was going through those, I had seen this flower and I thought the colors would be perfect. So I don't want green on my layout, which in the end, kind of funny, I end up with some green, although it's more minty. But so I decided to cut off the leaves of that flower, just making this sticker work for me. And I don't know when that's from, but as I said, it's pretty old. Now I found that that label, that scalloped label, and I'm putting those on wax paper so I can move them around because I'm not exactly sure what this layout is going to end up looking like. I have that camera there as well on a little piece of wax paper, and I end up using quite a few stickers from this sketchbook sticker book. I think 6 stickers, which is awesome because I have a lot of stickers left in that and they need to get used up. Now I am going through my Amy Tangerine Better Together die cuts, and the thing that's stopping me from using a lot of these, and I'm sorry that my layout's a little bit far down there, but the thing that's stopping me from using them is that they have a lot of green on them. I did find this record player and record die cut there, and actually now that I look at it, if I had cut that, it might have actually worked out better, like cut around it, and I'm going to keep that in mind. This is about a Bare Naked Ladies concert. That's where this was taken, so I think that the record player would have worked really well. So now I want to use this journaling spot from the Better Together, Amy Tangerine Better Together sticker book, but it's long, and what I was indicating there is I'm trying to figure out where to put it. It's long, it's not working, and I really think I want things on the right side there just because the people are looking to the left in this photograph, and it's probably hard to see that more now from the vantage point of the process video, but you can see it when you look at the photo. They're looking towards the stage, and so I really want to keep things, I guess, looking toward that left. You know how we need to do that. So things, you're not making the embellishments kind of make people look off the page, I guess, is a thing. I'm thinking about putting another cluster down there where I'm working with that label right now and the camera. And so if I do that, then I think I want another one up at the top left, or yeah, left of the photo there. So it just sort of makes sense. So now I'm going back and I'm looking at the Better Together sticker book to see what I can find. And I see these records. So, oh my gosh, yeah, I definitely need to do that. And I had talked about, when I looked at that sticker, about covering up those arrows. So that's what I was thinking about doing. Well, I didn't like that they were so long, so I thought, well, geez, I'm already finding this too long. Why don't I just cut that off? And I thought I'd end up throwing it away just because something that small I probably wouldn't keep on a normal basis. But the funny part is I do end up using it on the layout in the end. So I love the records. It is bothering me a little bit that now I'm introducing that little bit of green, that pop of green, but in the end of the whole process, I'm really glad that I did that, because I think it, just that little pop, I'm going to pop that color in 3 different places, really helped the layout itself pop. And you'll be able to see that in the stills, I think. And I'm playing around with, where does everything go? A lot of times I have that problem when I'm using things from more than one collection, which is what's going on here. Although they all work really well together, but just, you know, they're not designed to go together, although they go together really well in all seriousness. The colors are all very similar. I have a couple different tones of pink, but they go together very well. A couple tones of blue, but they go together well. So I just found in that die cut pack, I found a little kind of journaling spot that I had cut out previous to this, and I'm loving the green on this now. Like I just told you, it adds that pop. So it says love this. It's from the Better Together paper called Give and Take, and it's a bunch of these rectangular cut aparts. So now that I've used that green, I have some green on that arrow, and I'm thinking, oh, well, I could put that there and do that. So we'll toy with that a little bit, and I'm getting things arranged there, which is going to come back and bite me in just a little bit, because I forgot to do something that I was thinking about, and it's going to become very apparent to my eye that I need to do it in just a minute. Okay, so I need to straighten that edge just a little bit, and I'm looking at that, and I'm going to put it down when I realize I really need to ink the edges of this, because it will really help that pop off the page. And then of course I need to ink everything else. I did grab my StazOn because the stickers from the sticker books have a shiny finish to them, so I need the StazOn or the ink won't stay on. So normally when I do this too, as I'm inking like this, a lot of times I get myself in trouble and I get ink splotched somewhere where I didn't really want it, but you know, that's okay. I just kind of splotch it or live with it, whatever. But I managed to ink this whole thing without getting ink where it doesn't belong. So that's kind of exciting. That was a good thing this day. All right, and I've got lots of edges to ink here. So just a little bit about where this photo is from. We have a festival in Milwaukee every year, and I live in the area. That's called Summerfest, and it's 10 days of music acts, and I'm trying to think how many stages there are now. There's probably about 6 or 7 main stages, like big concert venue stages, and they bring in national acts and local acts. There's a main stage where every night a big act performs, and then there's also lots of smaller, like they just have people on the grounds, you know, small bands playing in tents as well, which harkens back to the day when the music festival first started. It's an amazing time, and you pay $20 and you get to hear fantastic music. And of course there's, you know, lots to eat and drink. It's Milwaukee, of course we have beer, so and lots of other things, but lots of fun. So that's this Bare Naked Ladies concert was one of the side stages, but it's one of the bigger side stages. It's a big venue. So I'm done inking now, and I decided to move that flower down to the bottom with the camera and then that little journaling card there, and I've decided to add that scallop in with the journaling card because I wanted it to be a little bit circular, I guess. I was thinking about that. I'm going to play with this a little bit. I just went and grabbed a globe, and that one came from something I didn't write down. So I don't remember which sticker book that came from. It might be stitched. Actually it's from the +1 sticker book now, or +1 sticker sheets, not book. I'm gonna have a hard time here because the stand of that globe is kind of driving me crazy because I can see other colors between it. So eventually I'm going to make that sticker work for me instead of me working around the sticker. I'm inking, and I decide to cut it off. There we go. So now that's going to work for me. What's bothering me here right now is there's too much round up there because there's two round elements, and the round elements don't appear like that anywhere else. There's a little bit of round in the other two clusters. It's not all round. So I'm going to tuck that underneath the layers, and then I'm going to just go look and see if maybe I can find something else. So I pointed to that, and that, by the way, is the extra green there. So I'm looking through, going back through the sketchbook sticker book again here. And look at that, there's that arrow that I didn't think I'm going to use, and I'm sorry you can't see that because the layout has dropped so low, but it's at the bottom of that Love This, the Love This, there, now it came back up a little bit. My angle on my camera was off on this one. So I tried that little pink doily, which I like, but it's not big enough. I want something else. And again, it's two round things. I tried this arrow, but just was not, it's way too bright, I think, for that cluster. It's solid brightness. So I didn't care for that. So I'm looking. And then I see this label, which is great because now that gets a rectangular element in, and I'm going to end up using that. And again, I'm inking with Stays On. What I'm also doing here is I'm being very careful because I want that label to cross across the sketched chevron lines there to touch the blue paper. When you take a cluster and you get it across as many elements in the rest of the layout as you can, or papers in the rest of the layout, it really helps pull the layout together. So that's what I'm doing here. I'm just looking to see if there's anything else I can use, and I found these music notes. So there were a couple of them that would have worked. I chose just to do one, and I'm going to pop it in there, put a little bit of the foam tape on it, and we'll go from there. And I was looking at the second music note, but it's not going to end up working. Yeah, I looked at that camera one more time. I knew that wasn't going to work, but oh well. That happens sometimes. I should tell you something too, because I'm seeing them right now. That container of sequins up at the top right, if I remember correctly, I forget to put the sequins on, and I do that off camera if I remember correctly. I only did this layout yesterday, but you forget details like that sometimes. Anyway, so if you don't see me do it, you will see some dark blue, some navy sequins in the still shots. I grabbed a couple of alphabets here, and the alphabet I'm going to use is called Doll, and it's the navy. They're glitter. I love this font. And I went back and forth in my mind before I started this about a couple of things I wanted to call this. I wanted it to have two lines because the spacing just was going to look better to my eye if I did that. So I just did BNL for Bare Naked Ladies, even though technically I guess it would be BL, but whatever. It's my layout and I can do what I want. As all of you should as well. Remember that. It's what looks good to your eye. It's not, it's not anything to judge. And I really feel like that, even though I obviously put my work out there for all of you to watch, but if it doesn't look good to me, that's what's important, is does it look good to me actually? Really. And stop comparing your work to me or anybody else, just for whatever you want to do, because I think it's all beautiful in its own right, and your families are going to love it no matter what it looks like. So now I'm just gluing down some edges. I need to be able to do that just because I glued just towards the centers of this. I do journal on this page, but I don't believe you're going to see that either. I know you're not. So the layout is just about complete. There's the still shot and a couple of detail shots. Hope you are all well, and we'll talk to you again soon. Bye.